to go with it. Coming up a little short. Hello and welcome back to Duel. I'm Matej Bigizalkai here with Randy Buehler. We had 7 rounds behind us. We have 2 more coming, and we got a really spicy one for round 8. So I'm not gonna wait any longer. Let's head on to the feature match area right away. Hello and welcome to round 8 of Grand Prix Barcelona. I'm your host Matej Bigizalkai here with Hall of Famer Randy Buehler, and we got a really good feature match ready for you. Who do we got, Randy?
Sam Black has been paired against Thiago Saporito. Both players on 6-1. We've seen Sam's deck all day. He's one of the featured players we've been watching. Green-blue double splashing for Soren.
Yeah.
And it has been sweet. We've watched a lot of just awesome magic from Sam all day today. Thiago, meanwhile, green-white. And he's got Sigarda, Heron's Grace, hanging out in this deck. I think that's a lot of the reason green-white. Also, an Ermendahl may come into play. Westfella Abbey is involved. A couple Angelic Purge, nice curve.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, I was a little skeptical when I saw Shard of Broken Glass as the first play and then green-white. But yeah, he can do a job, and why not?
Abyssinian Missionaries is actually a pretty good excuse
it is.
To put some equipment in your deck. And then I'm guessing there's some Delirium.
It could be
with the Shard.
Yeah, but even like a small payload.
Topplegeist.
Yeah, okay. With Topplegeist, it's great. Actually, making it a 2-1 as well is super relevant.
Right. Odric is also hanging out in this deck.
So this deck, his deck seems good. Like a bunch of rares and good stuff. I mean, Samba has more like a blue-green creature-based deck with some tricks. But the Soren late game payoff is actually quite good, and we've seen him just drag out super long games, and he already stole so many creatures with Welcome to the Fold that we've lost track of like what he could steal. And there's a Briarbridge Patrol from Thiago Saporito, so building up his army of 3/3s and actually respecting Sam Black's 3 open mana here, which I think is interesting. Not willing to attack with the Gloom Widow.
Attack from Gloom Widow.
Let's see. We'll see if he gets punished here for it. There's a Soul Swallower, 4 mana 3/3 trampler that grows with 3 +1/+1 counters if you have Delirium. Might be a tough card to deal with in green-white, but these days with Rabbit Bite, Angelic Purges, and other cards, there's ways.
There's certainly more removal in green-white in this format than in most.
Yes. Looks like Thiago is going to go on the offensive here, with both creatures. So he's actually going to mill himself. Finds a creature on a land. So, good mill. Sam's just like, I'm taking it. Karate style. Takes 7 here.
Pair of Platinum Pros here.
Yeah, both of them played Worlds.
Right. Not just Platinum, but World competitors last year. Number 8 versus number 14 in the world as of right now.
Yeah, pretty good. And Thiago, remember, he's having a pretty good season. He's already at 38 pro points without any significant results to speak of. Like, he played Worlds, and he did really well at the PTs. I think he had at least one 10-point finish, and I think a 6-point finish added to that. So combined with some of the GPs, he's been doing really well. He's also like doing quite well in the Limited Master race. So he's been tearing it up in drafts at the PT. And there's Pour Over the Page from Sam Black. Does he get any more value? Any madness? Sam's deck is sweet. I really liked Ongoing Investigation, get 3 clues, and confront the unknown, plus a lot. Like, he has all these nifty tricks that he can do. And like working towards Delirium here with the Pour Over the Page. It already has the creature in the graveyard. See if he can discard something good, like a land would be great. Discard here, he does have the land, so already almost a Delirium for the Soul Swallower. And we know he has the Confront the Unknown in his hand too. So like on his upkeep, he can already make the Soul Swallower 6/6.
Wow,
it's super early too. An upkeep of turn 6, not bad. See if Thiago has something to say about that. 5 cards still for Sam Black. He's like, oh geez. He does have Angelic Purge in his hand. I just saw a glimpse in Thiago's hand, so at least he has the answer for the Soul Swallower. He offers up the trade first.
Sure.
Okay. So Thiago has Delirium now. He milled the Griff Spoon, which is nice because he can bring it back for 4 mana and give a creature +1/+0 and flying. Great. Could be great on the Briarbridge Patrol for future turns. Actually, really like it.
Now, if you're Thiago, do you just Angelic Purge, even trusting that Sam can get to Delirium soon enough? Because Sam has the surprise Delirium, right? He can just end step, drop an instant into the yard.
I think if Thiago has like a good follow-up, like a good creature, I wouldn't. I would wait.
But you would just Angelic Purge rather than
if he has nothing else, I would Angelic Purge here probably.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, but so Sam down to 9 here. He has Vestvale Abbey, and he has Castic Dire Swine. So, he's the board. So there, Sam goes for it. So he does play the +1/+1, gets the clue, makes the Soul Swallower a 6/6. But unless he has the counter spell here for 5 mana, which we know he plays, then the Angelic Purge is just gonna be backbreaking. And I do like the Swine. It's one of my favorite cards in the set.
Really?
6 mana, 6/6. Ugh.
It's big.
Yeah, now it's trample too. It just matches up so well against a lot of the creatures in the format. So, but it's also because I like drafting black-green, and it's at its best in that archetype. Now Sam Black will almost tap out and play a Drunaro Corpse Trawler, which is a decent creature on its own. And he can even get black with thanks to the Lone Dread, but it activates for 3 mana, gives zombie death touch, so can't play it just yet. Can't activate it just yet. But he's thinking Sam is probably gonna... Okay, he's gonna play the Veteran Cathar. Adds a white activation to the board. Oh no, he goes for the Scavenger, interesting. Build up decent enough board. And now you see why the Swine's good, right? He's gonna kill the Soul Swallower, and the 6 power and trample and 6 toughness just gonna really be put to work. So we'll see. Yeah, Thiago has plenty of lands. He can even give it flying with the Griff Spoon. Whenever I have my, you can see Sam is already writing down cards. Whenever I see my opponent do that, I almost tend to think like, all right, so he thinks he's already lost the game, so he's making notes for another game. So there's the Angelic Purge on the Soul Swallower, which is Thiago's last card in his hand, but he will be able to play that Griff Spoon from graveyard too, while still keeping Delirium, if I'm not mistaken. Creature, artifact, land, now sorcery, so even if he brings that Griff Spoon back from the graveyard for 4 mana, he should be in good shape. And Griff Spoon also one of the more underrated cards.
I agree. I think it's quite good.
But I think it's actually quite good. I think that one of the problems with it is that like the creatures that you want already are somewhat like good enough on its own, and like the creature that Griff Spoon on is good on are not that great. Like Devil Thorn Fox, for example. Like it's a fine card, and with Griff Spoon it's fine, but without it it's very mediocre. And yeah, it puts it on the Castic Dire Swine, and also attacks with the 4/3 Gloom Widow. Yep, that's going to trade there, and Sam's going to go down to 2 here. Will he find an answer for a Pix Fly, right? Just a Fork in the Road, and I think a Veteran Cathar. But he still has the clue, so maybe he can draw something here. Altered Ego. You know, if he hadn't traded with the Gloom Widow, he could have played the Altered Ego, copied the Gloom Widow, which can block flyers, but I don't think it would have been enough.
It wouldn't be big enough anyway.
Yeah. It would still be small enough, but Yeah, Sam's just gonna pack them up, but
Wow.
interesting. So Thiago Saporito takes game one with his green-white deck over Sam Black, our featured player for this tournament. One of the three. He's doing as well as Fabrizio and Terry. He's also 6-1, and you can see him there in the back on your right. We know Pascal Maynard is not doing that well. He already has 2 losses and a draw.
Sure.
He picked up over the tournament, even though we saw him do some of the most awesome plays with seasons past and whatnot. So, yep. These Sam and Fabrizio are already locked for day 2, but of course they don't want to go into day 2 at 6 wins and 3 losses. They want to make the most out of it, and tough work ahead of them.
Yeah, 6-3 is not where you want to be, for sure. I was talking to some of the pros hanging out. You know, so many people in town with the Pro Tour next weekend.
Yeah.
There was this sort of active debate going on. Let's say you're 6-3.
Okay.
What's the better way to spend your Sunday? Like, hold up at the testing house? You know, maybe grinding a bunch of drafts on Magic Online, testing some constructed, or, you know, getting the live reps of a couple of Grand Prix drafts. It's kind of an interesting question.
It is. I talked to some people about this as well, and they were. I think the overwhelming opinion was that it's good actually to play day 2 even at 6-3, just because, like, okay, sure, you can 6-0 to get the like extra pro points and everything, but even apart from that, just like getting the practice of the draft with double face cards. Because in a draft environment at home or Magic Online, it's different to the live experience. So
yeah, Magic Online is definitely different with the way double face cards
are
just cards.
We're going to have a quick look at Wilson Lamb against Brad Nelson. Both players at 7-0. I heard Brad Nelson's deck is incredible. He's now on part of Team Eureka. Been spending some quality time with Brad, and he said his deck is insane. And it looks like it. That's what Recruiter. He has the Dauntless Cathar as well. He's really putting on the beatdowns in this game. And as he activates the Desperate Recruiter, I can actually have an interesting tidbit. Wilson Lamb on the left here, he was actually in the top 4 of the last GP Barcelona, which was teams.
Oh, wow.
He's part of a Swiss team. So I assume he's from Switzerland, and he's doing pretty well here. It was a top 4, which also included the Peach Garden Oath,
right?
Which I think they beat. Yeah, and at least in the Swiss. And there was also like a really good German team. It was won by Christian Seibold and the Grafensteiner brothers. Actually, that GP was great, and it was actually held in the same location. So we'll see if Wilson Lamb can follow this up.
Here, let me just hand you Brad Nelson's deck.
Okay, so
this deck is, you're right, this deck is absurd.
Okay, so tell me why.
All the good cards, it's all uncommons and rares in green and white.
Yes, yeah, he also, not only does Switch Recruiter, he also has Pack Guardian, and also one of the best
those
green
are
cards.
The 2 best non-rares. Those are the only cards people are proposing as the best non-rare in the set.
Yeah, his commons are like all good curved creatures. Like he has double Quilled Wolf and double Hinterland Logger as well. His deck's really good. I think Brad is just in really good shape, and like
his white cards include Always Watching and Descend Upon the Sinful.
Yeah, geez. Like, let's go back to the other match. This already looks like a rout. Even though Wilson Lamb, I think, won game 1. Yes, Sam is already full on in action. Look at that. Turn 1 Loam Dryad, turn 2 Loam Dryad, a Scavenger. While Thiago only has a Shard of Broken Glass here. No, but this is actually kind of nice for Sam. He doesn't have any more lands, no islands. So he'll be able to at least use the Loam Dryads to get the blue mana, but I think he only has something like Ghostly Winks in his hand. I think that he boarded in. Probably worried about the swines, flying pigs.
Funny.
Yeah.
Where are you on Loam Dryad? Is this a card that you like to play?
No. I think it's really bad.
Marshall was really down on it too. Sam, I think, actively likes it.
I think in this sort of deck it can actually work. Like I can see why Sam's running it.
Sure.
And I can see it being good in some green decks, especially if you're trying to go for, if you're trying to like splash all the bombs or whatnot. I think Loam Dryad does actually a decent enough job. And it can attack for 1 on an empty board. So Thiago down to 18 here. Right there. Okay, that's pretty decent. So it's the Inquisitor, 2/3 for 3, and it gets +1/+0 for every equipment you get.
There you go. Shard of Broken Glass, looking better and better.
Yeah, it's actually I've been very impressed by the card. Like I like the Sensor a little more, which gives +1/+1 and Vigilance. Bigger if it's a human, but if you also have some Delirium synergies, there's worse cards to actually run.
Right.
Sam is building his own fortress here with Ghostly Wings on his Moldraff Scavenger. making it into a 1/5 flyer. So like build your own Silent Observer, right?
That's a lot of work to create Silent Observer.
You can protect it. You can bounce it to your own hand if your opponent has removal.
Get an enchantment in the graveyard. It's all good.
Yeah, there's a Devil Thorn Fox. Yeah, there you go. Sam knows what he's doing. But yeah, the Inquisitor is now a 4/3 after that equip. It's a Militant Inquisitor, actually. Sam adds another force, but as you can see, his hand is like 3 blue cards and then Confront the Unknown. Yeah, Thiago makes sure to read the Ghostly Wings here. But yeah, it's that one. Where do you stand on Ghostly Wings?
I keep looking at it as, again, I think because of Delirium, there are strong incentives to get sort of the oddball card types into your deck, artifacts and enchantments in particular. It's one of the reasons I think Griffspoon is quite underrated. You know, the W for a point of power, not that amazing, but the fact that it can go to the graveyard as an enchantment and then potentially even come back later.
Yeah. I agree. I think Ghostly Wings can be actually pretty good in some decks. There's like a couple where you can make a bad deck perform real well, like put it on one of the Blood Mad Vampires and just start swinging in the air, and you also have like the implicit like protection for it, and or Pyre Hound.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam played a catalog of the Lone Dryads, so he got the blue mana there, and then he plays, after discarding Sleep Paralysis, which is actually like a really good card, he goes for the Fork in the Road, discarding, putting the forest in the graveyard and finally fetching an island. And look at this, enchantment, sorcery, land, instant. That's his graveyard. So Delirium, so that Moldgraph Scavenger suddenly...
Silent no more.
Silent no more. It's a 4/5 now, but... Sam's still holding back, and that's a problem for Thiago now. Even if Thiago plays like Angelic Purge, Sam can just return it to his hand and replay it as a 3/4. It's still going to do a really good job on this board. So Thiago's go like, okay, going to the air with Sigarda then. 5 mana, 4/5 flyer. Your humans have hexproof, and you can exile cards from your graveyard to get 1/1 humans, if I'm not mistaken. That's a good mythic.
So the 4/5 flyers are just staring at each other now.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a Shard of Broken Glass, so. And actually, it's somewhat of a combo, right? Because Sigarda says exile a card from your graveyard, like any card, and like Shard can mill you.
Wow.
So yeah, there's the Thornhide Wolves, and that's gonna get countered. And getting 3 clues as well. I'm pretty sure Thiago did not expect. Not expect that one.
Yeah, Ben Stark got me with that card in the side draft yesterday.
How do you think it's good?
I've been impressed by it. I mean, it looked a little clunky when I read the spoiler, but seeing it in action, it's played pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. Confirm suspicion. 5 mana counter target spell. Investigate 3 times. I've seen it actually. Someone used it with Erdwall Illuminator as well. So you get 4, and it was really hard to win the game from that point on. So Sam has got the card advantage going. Now he has Altered Ego, so he can copy the Sigarda.
Wow.
Or can he? I think he's probably maybe waiting to make it even bigger.
Is it Angelic Purge time?
It is.
Gonna force Sam to pop the Ghostly Wings.
Yeah, he has a 4s in his hand.
Which means Thiago has cleared the flying blocker.
Yes.
Even though the Scavenger's going to come back.
It's actually quite good for Thiago because he also has the Inquisitor that he can bash with, and it's going to mean that he has a sorcery land creature in the graveyard, and if he like has a good mill, like he can even trigger Delirium for the Topplegeist.
Shard of Broken Glass is doing so much work in
Right?
this deck.
It's been really impressing me here in this spot.
I mean, it has synergy with 3 of the 4 creatures Thiago's got in play.
He's not attacking with the Sigarda? Interesting.
Yeah, he's a little worried about what would Sam have?
Yeah.
I guess with the Loam Dryads, he can have actually anything.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Thiago playing very defensive. Like Mills, Silver for Partisan and the Vessel of Nascency. So he does have Delirium now for the Topplegeist, which is sweet. And he can also exile one of the creatures in the grave to make a 1/1 human. Okay, so there's a Confront the Unknown. It's going to be big.
Jeez.
So +3/+3.
Not bad.
4/5.
Giant growth.
Yeah. 4/5 Lone Dread. Thiago already offering it up. I think Sam's just going to sack one more clue after that resolves. Just to have more information. It's just an island though. So I think he's going to block the 4/3 Militant Inquisitor. I would have always attacked with the Sigarda there. But I understand why Thiago did not. I think it's a very like mature play. And the Topple guy is going to do some work here. Like
Yeah, for sure.
If Sam decides to play his altered ego and copy Sigarda, like being Thiago having the opportunity to shut down Sam's copy, it's going to be huge.
I do think Sam could pretty easily have Silver Strike in that spot. I think
Yeah.
that's the specific card Thiago's
Yeah, I
playing
know.
around.
Yeah, it's one of the cards that I immediately thought of, but yeah, no, he doesn't have one. So Sam just draws another card there. Thiago is keeping up 2 mana for. Yeah, he's gonna tap one of the Long Dryad because he does have Delirium. So, yep, might actually be quite useful. Silent Observer for Sam, but he also has Duskwatch Recruiter, so I think Sam will try to gum up the ground or the board in general. You know, people ask me like, I tell you, why are you covering these GPs? Why do you want to do coverage? What shouldn't you want to play the week before the Pro Tour just so you can learn so much more? And I'm like, I'm learning so much in the booth. Like I get to watch awesome Magic round after round, like much better players than I am playing it out.
Interesting.
What-
You think watching
Yeah,
from this seat is better for your Pro Tour prep than playing?
yeah. Because if I'm at home and I would just watch the stream, I wouldn't be as focused on it. You know, now I get to watch. I have to analyze all the options, so
Sure,
like my
sure.
brain is working overtime.
Interesting.
Because then I can see both players' hands. When I'm just playing, I see just mine, you know. So there's a Moldgraf Scavenger, and also the Altered Ego copying Sigarda. So with 2+1/+1 counters as well. So it's pretty big. And Thiago's going to start churning out some 1/1 humans with the Sigarda. No humans available?
Surely.
I'm sure they're looking for them. We had plenty of zombies and other tokens, so yeah. I think we found them. Yeah, there they are.
I lugged that giant box of tokens all the way from WotC HQs.
Oh,
They
so we
they
better have.
use them.
Thanks, Randy.
No problem.
You're the best. All right. So as we mentioned, like the board is kind of stalling out a little, but it looks like Thiago has still something to play here. Okay, Briar Bridge Patrol, 4-mana 3/3, and now the Doppelgeist.
Yeah.
Tap down your Sigarda. So now I think Thiago's again in decent shape. Ooh.
Hello.
But he well, Sam just drew
He needs a
Sorin.
creature
Yeah, he needs a creature, but he
for the second Loam Dryad.
yes,
One of them makes black, one of them makes white. But now he doesn't have the 6.
exactly. So he can't cast the distant, but he can play the Silent Observer here, and I think he has the Duskwatch Recruiter as well. Pulling out all his good cards.
This deck!
Yeah, it's great. Now he can activate the Recruiter at the end
Off
of
the
turn.
2 Loam Dryads.
Yeah. Lomdra doing work in this deck. Yeah.
And this is all because Doppelgeist has essentially neutered the bigger Sigarda that Sam
Yeah.
played. All right, fine. I'm giving your Doppelgeist something it has to do. I'll just load the board full of good creatures and set up a next turn Sorin.
Ooh, Humble the Brood here from Thiago Saporito. So 5 mana, destroy a creature with power 4 or more. So clears that Sigarda off the board. Gets a clue as well. Now he has to think. I think he will probably
What do you tap with
Equip-
Tapogeist?
Yeah, equip the Sigarda to make it a 5/5 so that it gets through the Silent Observer. I think Thiago has to pull the trigger. He has to attack here. He can't. I don't think he can afford to wait.
Sure.
In the face of That's What's Recruited, because that card's going to take over the game. So
Right. Thiago has no longer has the late game inevitability that he
Yeah.
may have thought he had with Sigarda.
Mm.
Duskwatch Recruiters, more advantage, faster.
yes, there's the Recruiter activation. So, Grab Mole, Quilled Wolf as well. Still has a clue left over too, so it's going to enable to gain him some life. And we know that Sorin can now kill off.
Well, if Thiago has a Topogeist, he could tap Lone Dryad here.
He could.
It would be a psychic play to do it. Like Silent Observer is the obvious target.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he was psychic, he would tap Lone Dryad and turn off Sorin.
That would be a sick play, too. Like
he'd be like ghosting accusations flying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how? What is he like listening to the stream? Is this possible?
So he taps out a Silent Observer, draws a land for his turn. But yeah, he can finally play the story now. Has to basically tap out his whole board to do it though. But if he goes -5 on the Sigarda, he gains 5 life back, gets rid of the threat. And even though he knows that the Sorin is gonna probably die once Thiago attacks, it will probably still be worth it. So Sam up to 16, and it has that mole. The games of this format can go really long, and I really enjoy how dirtily you can be, and Sam is doing exactly that. Just a nice early game, like some defensive cards, some acceleration with Lone Dryad, and he has a couple of really good late game cards. As Thiago sacks a clue. He has a Westvale Abbey.
How many creatures does he have?
He has plenty of creatures.
He has 5.
Yes, the creatures are not the problem. There's an Odric.
Wow.
So everything can have flying, right?
Everything can have lifelink and indestructibility and haste. We put Ermendal onto the table.
Jesus! That would be insane. All right, so all his creatures have flying. So he's going to mill 2 with the Shard of Broken Glass. Mills land and Strength with Arms. Deals significant damage. Deals 9 damage to Sam, who falls down to 7. Like, that's the cost. 1 less because he's also going to attack the Sorin, yeah, of course. So he's up to he's down to 7. But still, it was a big turn. And Thiago's deck is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, the one problem with the activating Westvale to get Ormondal with Odric,
you lose 5 creatures.
Yeah, you lose the rest of your
I'm
board.
not saying it's the right play.
Yeah, but it's the sweetest play, of course.
Exactly.
But I love me some sweet plays. So sacks a clue, gains 3, so Sam up to 10. And then Grafmole doing work. I like that card.
It also might be the right play. Indestructible, flying, lifelink.
Yeah. This game has been great. And like all these interactions, I love it. There you see him, Sam Black. Now on the back foot, but he has plenty of creatures. He has Dustwatch Recruiter. If he has one relevant card in his hand, he could still be doing fine. But I mean, Thiago's of course not in any hurry. He can wait, create a token at the end of the turn, and try to go with Ormondal. Like, his whole team has flying. Remember, for those of you who don't know Odric, Lunak Marshall, if one of your creatures has flying, all your creatures have flying, and this is true for all the abilities that that have keywords. So keyworded abilities. So that's Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Double Strike, First Strike, whatever you can find on your board, that creature gets it at the beginning of combat. Okay. And Sam's doing some recruiting here. Found a Drunar Corpse Trawler. That doesn't have flying. I wonder if it's what Sam's doing with his library, where like he puts.
Yeah, we've seen him do this before. Keep track of where the recruited cards already are.
Interesting. I didn't think it was legal.
I haven't seen it before.
Okay.
But I mean, this is the second round I've watched Sam do it. It seems super useful as a way to sort of keep track of when you get to the cards that you've seen before.
Absolutely. So will Thiago go for the flashy play? I think we've seen him play very conservatively this match,
True.
right? He didn't attack with a Sigarda when he expected Sam to have Silver Strike man up, or it could have been something else, but he just wanted to be very careful. So he's just gonna activate the Odric. Looks like he's swinging with everything. Triggers the Shard of Broken Glass, Mills of Swine, and a land. And there's the handshake. Thiago Saporito on the back of the Odric takes the game and the match. And our featured player, Sam Black, falls down to 6-2. So not in great shape, but Thiago has really impressed me with his play, and his deck was sweet.
Definitely.
I think he can definitely win the last round and go 8-1. All right, so Wilson Lamb against Brad Nelson. So we heard all about Brad's really good deck, and but now Wilson Lamb is putting on the herd, the Quilled Wolf and Stitched Mangler, and now he even gets the value off of the compelling deterrence, forcing Brad to discard a card, because it looks like Brad has been stuck on 2 mana here. He does have a Pack Guardian in his hand, so this might be the first loss for Brad, but Wilson is down to 2 cards, and
yeah, that's painful.
Yeah, Brad just conceded. We didn't even manage to update the life totals enough, and that's a shame for Brad Nelson, the number 20 rated players. He, out of all his GP top 8, he only has 2 limited ones: 9 standard, 1 legacy. I specifically asked him if he has any limited GP top 8s, because he's known as the constructed master, especially standard, of course. So. Yeah, Wilson Lamb, the GP top 4 competitor from the Team GP last time around.
This is his favorite city, right?
Yeah,
He's
of course.
just going to top 8 all the GP Barcelona.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I remember that team when they played. They were really good friends, and they seemed like a very focused bunch of guys. But I think Wilson was one of the people I was most impressed with on the team. He's now 8-0. So if he wins the last round, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out on him in drafts tomorrow. Being undefeated in such a tough field, compared to other GPs, this is probably one of the toughest fields. The week before the Pro Tour,
for sure.
So he's definitely, if he can manage to do it at the here, then he can do it on the Pro Tour scene as well.
Yeah. 17 or 18 of the top 25 ranked players here this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, there are 2,000 players. It's not like there's one at every table.
Sure. And I assume a lot of the Asian pros, especially from Japan, are in Beijing. I saw Makito Mihara go 9-0 in that one.
Indeed.
So yeah, we're gonna head on to our other feature match, which is
Steve Ruben
on the left against Ralph Betesh. So I assume that he's American as well. It says U.S. on the sheet.
Yep.
So I think the names are reversed.
Yes.
I think Steve's on the left. Ralph is on the right.
That is true. 6-0-1 for these guys.
6-0-1. Yeah. So they managed to already pick up a draw, and you can see why. Both players green-white, both having tireless tracker. These games can go long.
Yeah, Ralph's got a couple of GP top 8s, including a win in Detroit 6 weeks ago.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. He's been crushing it.
Yeah, that Detroit win qualified him for Madrid. So no other pro points this season, but 8 for winning a GP is a good start.
Yeah, it's certainly not bad. He can add to that total. Okay, so he adds some to the board. Crow of Dark Tidings. Knows some cards. He has the Accursed Witch on the board as well. So slowly picking at it. Don't worry, we'll update the names and the left as we go. We're already working on it.
Steve Ruben, meanwhile, 3 Grand Prix top 8s. He got all the way to platinum last season.
I think everyone was surprised. Where did this kid come from? He didn't have any PT top 8s. And looks like, Ralph Betesh, I think, won this game. So we're going to go to game 3 here. That Accursed Witch, when I saw Steve Ruben was on 3 and Accursed Witch on the table.
Yeah, he didn't have Pro Tour top 8s. What he had was Pro Tour high finishes.
Okay.
He got there by 10 points from this Pro Tour, 10 points from that Pro Tour. I think he got 10 points from 3 different Pro Tours last season. 10 points is what you get for, 10 and 6? 11 and 5?
11 and 5 is 10 points, yeah.
11 and 5 is 10 points. I think he did that 3 times.
I think he had 1 X4 finish, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure
for 15?
For 15, which, helps a lot.
Yeah.
There was actually one more European player from Poland, Maciej Janik, who actually got 10 points at the first PT, and 10 at another one, and then 10 another one.
Wow.
And he then needed 2 points to log gold
Okay.
Because like with the last one, he would have 3 for sure, and he made it at the last possible GP
Oh, wow.
to log goal for the whole season. So we've been seeing him for a while now, but he hasn't been doing as well this year, of course. But if you can manage to string these together,
Yeah,
it really helps.
There are a lot of pro points on the line at the Pro Tour.
Yeah,
So
especially for the finishes with only 4 or 5 losses, like 15 points for going only 4 losses is.
I like that setup. I think that's
Yeah, me too.
absolutely the right way to set the Pro Tour up.
Yeah.
Just reward that consistency. You got to get a little bit lucky to make a top 8.
Yeah. But I mean, it's good in a way that like the difference between 15 points and 18, just the 3, which is not that huge. And
Yep.
already, if you go X4 at the Pro Tour and you automatically qualify for the next one, means that just by going to the next one, you're automatically going to the next one because of silver level.
Right.
Which I think this kind of setup is very good, very encouraging for even one player who just makes it one time, has a good finish. Like he can keep coming back effectively as they head on to Game 3 with I think they have less than 15 minutes left in the round. So both players already having a draw. We'll see if this game stalls out with this green-white and green-white-black deck. So there's Obsessive Skinner on turn 2 for Steve Ruben. I really like that card, and it's already nice when you already have an explosive apparatus in play that you're gonna get to delirium quicker.
Right.
Yeah, that's
It starts as a 2/2. It's not much downside to putting the card in your
and
deck.
it's very enticing to just kill off a card such as Veteran Cathar.
Oh yeah.
Not bad, and I saw Avacyn in Steve Rubin's hand, so that could
Ah.
explain his good record.
The other interesting thing going on with Steve Ruben is that he's actually testing with face-to-face games for this Pro Tour.
Okay.
The team he was on Team Blitz for a while. It
Mhm.
was like Brad Nelson, Ari Lax, Seth Manfield, the world champ, Steve, and they've all just kind of went their separate ways for this Pro Tour. That team is essentially evaporated.
Yeah. I mean, we managed to grab Brad for
Right, you
ourselves.
guys took Brad.
Yeah.
Face-to-face got Steve.
Mm.
Ultra Pro got Ari Lax.
Yes. And there's like a couple of other players who've like been going around to the other teams or like doing their own thing.
Did Seth wind up on Dex Army? Seth Manfield?
Sorry?
I forget where.
Seth Manfield. He's testing with East West Bowl. I
East
think.
West Bowl, right?
Yes,
Right.
I think he went with those guys. I talked to Jarvis Yu, and he said like he was really happy with having Seth on the team.
I would be too.
He knows him for a really long time too, so
Got it.
that felt like a natural inclusion apparently. So
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
there's a Thornhide Wolves from Steve Ruben and also from Ralph Betesh. So board clogging up once again. But we know Steve has the Avacyn, so any combat can turn very sour for Ralph Betesh there if he makes any bad blocks. And after 2 games, I would assume he already knows about it.
Well, I don't think we saw it in game 2.
No, we didn't see it in the 2, but maybe he saw it from game 1.
Just because Steve won, you assume he had to have Avacyn?
Maybe. I assume so. It's a powerful card. But if Ralph Betesh does not know about it, it's actually like
Even better.
yeah, it's for Steve. It would be incredible, and like it's also quite decent that he can pass this turn if he really wanted to. Did he also draw an Odric? No, it's a Spectral Shepherd. He's gonna build up his board further. There's a Spectral Shepherd from Steve Rubin, so 3 mana 2/2 flyer that you can pay 2 to return. A Spirit to your hand it's a Spirit itself, so.
Well, he doesn't have the blue mana, right?
No Loam Dryads, no dual lands, no nothing.
Well, I'm not in play. I'm still looking for a stack.
Yeah. Let's see what Ralph Betesh can do here. Okay, so he has Angelic Purge, so he gets rid of the Thornhide Wolves. And he will want to start swinging here, so he goes with the Witch and the Wolf here. Obviously, he wants to get the Accursed Witch online as soon as possible, just so it starts draining Steve for 1 every turn. In a stalled board situation, like having this is actually very valuable, especially if you trade it off with a creature.
It's a weird card, but it's
Yeah.
good.
I like it. It's
the body that you get on the front side is plenty good enough, and it's set up where your opponent's going to wind up trading for it eventually, and then you've got this inevitability.
Exactly. You can also have some synergies potentially if you want, you can sacrifice it to Angelic Purge, for example, if you want to.
Sure.
Just to flip it for sure. And the Stoic Builder for Ralph Betesh picks up a land that he sacrificed to the Angelic Purge. Build up his board further, but if Ralph now goes on the offensive with all his creatures, like the Avacyn's gonna blow him that much more. Like blow up his board. It's a tough spot for Relvin. Even though he looks like to be firmly good, like look at how good Steve Ruben is trying to set it up. Like, should I attack my Spectre Shepherd or should I not? Well, I'll think about it, because he's setting up that Avacyn here. And if Ralph saw it, I'm pretty sure he's just not going to attack with all his guys unless he draws like a really good creature here.
Flash ability on Avacyn also lets him flip his werewolf.
Exactly. And now it's a 3/5 lone wolf of the Natanols. Yeah. Ralph Betesh here. He has to make a judgment call because the board is plenty enticing to attack here.
Yep.
It looks like something you would want to do, but no, he's just passing.
Yeah, he looks over at 6 untapped mana. And Steve's just going to squander it?
I think Steve just kind of like gave it away.
Yeah, at this point.
At this point, it's really obvious.
Is it obvious enough to be a bluff?
Like, the attack is still not that great for Ralph. Even if Steve does not have the Avacyn, just because of like the flip 3/5.
Sure.
So let's get out of here. There we go. Oh, I love Tyler's Tracker.
So good.
Such a good card. I think it'll see plenty of play in Constructed too. It's just a sweet card. So plays it, plays land, gets a clue. And now if you drew a 3-mana spell, it suddenly gets very exciting to start attacking for Ralph. He has another Angelic Perch here. He still doesn't have, I don't think he has Delirium. His sorcery, land, and creature. So the Scavenger is still only a 0/4, so that's why he only attacks with the 2 big creatures. Yeah, and now I think Ralph played this really well. So there's Avacyn. Gonna get to kill both guys. Basically for free. Shows you why the card's so good. But at least Ralph will get to put the Infectious Curse on Steve Ruben.
12 turns from now.
12
he wins the game.
Yeah, but I mean, Ralph went pretty wide here. Like, he has a sizable board. But Steve having the Vigilant Avacyn is a problem, though. The good thing for Ralph is, though, that every land is basically another card thanks to the Tireless Tracker. So, and otherwise it's a spell, so... Ooh. Steve is sizing up an attack with the Obsessive Skinner. That would be surprising. Interesting. Swings with everything. I really wonder what Steve is lining up here. I think he has Puncturing Light, so. I think Steve's recognizing that he needs to probably try to win the game quickly. Or maybe he wants to flip his Avacyn. It's actually entirely likely. He feels maybe that he's going to lose his board anyway, but at least he'll get to sweep almost everything that what Ralph Betesh has. Yeah. Whenever non-angel creature you control dies, transform at the Avacyn at the beginning of the next upkeep. So, creatures bounce off of here. Yep. So Steve passes the turn. Now he's going to flip the Avacyn, and he's going to wipe the board. I think he wanted to get rid of the Tireless Tracker in play, just to make sure that the Ralph will not draw any more removal, and not get any value off his lands and such, and also put him almost on a 2-turn clock. Okay, is that Weirding Wood? Okay, Weirding Wood gets a clue, sacks it, draws a card. Remember, there's still the Infectious Curse in play, so He's a cool caller's accomplice. Passes the turn. So Steve down to 10, Ralph Betesh down up to 7 now. Thanks to that infectious curse pinging away, which means that Avacyn is not lethal yet. Yeah. Ralph down to 1. Can he draw something here? I think it was a spell. I really like admiring the body language just from the mannerism of the hands. We don't have the face cam, but I think it also gives a lot away sometimes. He's tapping a lot of mana. Whoa. Okay, swing first. Steve must be thinking, like, what is going on here? Gonna go for the puncturing light. Doesn't want to take the 2 damage this turn. And Ralph Betesh. Ooh, Droxcall Cavalry. Why not?
Very good magic card.
Yeah, but I think it might be too late.
Yeah.
It's just a 7 mana 4/4. It's just gonna chump block the Avacyn.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Ralph is up to. No, there's the land. So Steve Ruben takes the game and the match. Look how happy he is. 7 wins and 1 draw. It was a good match as well. Like, pretty intense. And Avacyn flipping, wiping the whole board. It was enough for Steve Ruben, the Platinum Pro, doing well. He's not having such a good season right now.
Not as good as last year.
It was really hard to replicate what he had last year. But yeah, good job for him. And I'm sure he wants to set it up with some more pro points from GPs to at least hit gold or potentially make a good run at Platinum if he top 8s the Pro Tour. Yeah, so that's all the matches for us. In this round, we saw Sam Black lose to Thiago Saporito in the Prime match, and yeah, that's it for round 8 here at GP Barcelona.